Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today we're going to work on the vocabulary and sight words for first grade journeys, lesson 17. And our anchor text is The Big Trip by Valerie Gorbachev. For this lesson, I'm going to ask you questions and we're going to do the turn and talk routine. That means I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to think about your answer. Then you're going to pair up with the partner at home, or you can be my virtual partner. And then you're going to share out your thinking in a complete sentence or sentences. So for this lesson, you will need a pencil and a piece of paper or journal page. Then you are going to write numbers 1 to 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 8. And for each number, you're going to write the targeted vocabulary or sight word. And then at the end of the lesson, I'm going to challenge you to write the word up to 2 more times, 1 and 2. For the second time, you can write the word again, or you can draw a quick picture or sketch to help you remember that word. So if you need to, get your pencil and paper, and when you're ready to join me, push play after you push pause. Push pause, get your pencil paper, and then push play. Here's our learning targets. I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the story, The Big Trip. Our second learning target is I can talk about the important words and pictures. Success criteria. That means how will you know you're successful at using pictures and context clues to help you understand the important words? And how will you know you're successful in talking about the important words? Well, here is what you're going to do. Here are your steps to success. I will. Number 1, look closely at each pair of pictures. Number 2, say what you notice or see. How are the pictures the same or similar? Turn and talk. And then you're going to read each word and its definition. And then you're going to write each word. And then you're going to write it again 2 or more times and draw a picture for each. Turn and talk rules if you have a partner at home. Number 1, make sure you're eye to eye. And if you're sitting on the floor, you can be knee to knee, but you can also be sitting at a chair. Number 2, first one person talks, the other person listens. And then number 3, then the next person talks, the other person listens. Number 4, do not talk too long on your turn or your partner will not have time for a turn. For each pair of pictures, I'm going to ask the same questions. What do you notice or see? And you're going to say, I notice, and then finish your thought. And then I'm going to ask you, how are they both the same? And then you're going to tell me, they both, and then finish your thought. If you have a partner at home or I'm your virtual partner, you can also add these statements. You can either agree with me and you can say, I agree with you, Mrs. Pearson, because, and tell me why, or disagree. I disagree with you because, and tell me or your partner why. So here's our first pair of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, here's my turn to talk. In the first picture, I notice Inspector Gadget is looking closely at something and pointing at it like, look there. And in the second picture, I notice some children pointing and looking at something in the distance, and one boy might be saying, look over there, it's there. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They both. Well, this one was a little tricky. They both show there. So for number 1, I want you to write on your paper there, There. There, there. The word there is used to mean that something can be found here, a place or position. So Inspector Gadget may be saying, look there, or I am looking closely there. And the group of children may say, I see it over there. So, a synonym or a word that's similar in meaning is here. You could say, look here or look there. It's similar, but not exactly the same. So, here is there are many ways to travel safely. There are many ways to travel safely. You could also say, here are many ways to travel safely. But if you were to say, here are many ways to travel safely, you would want to list them. You can travel by bus or by car or walking or by plane. All right. How do I use it? There are two dogs in the yard. How many colors are there in a rainbow? There are two dogs in the yard. How many colors are there in a rainbow? So let's see how it sounds if I substitute there for here. Here are two dogs in the yard. See how it sounds similar? How many different colors are here in a rainbow? So if you were to say here, you were actually looking at the rainbow at that time. So number one is there. Here's our next group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a man on a chariot with four horses. Looks like that's how he is getting around or traveling. In the next picture, I notice a bunch of students on a school bus. They are going by the school bus. They are traveling by school bus. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They both, well, they both show, this is a little tricky, by, B-Y, by. And the reason why I chose these pictures is by is a word that helps, that means with the help of, on, or near. So you could say, the man is traveling by chariot, or with the help of a chariot, or on a chariot, with the help of four horses. Or the students are traveling by bus, or going to school by bus. So a synonym or a word that means the same could be with, near, or on. You could say, the man is traveling with a chariot or with the help of a chariot. The the children are traveling on a bus. If you're by something, you are also near it as well. It's a slightly different meaning. Wear a helmet when traveling by bike. Wear a helmet when traveling by bike. You could also say wear a helmet when traveling with a bike or on a bike. How do I use it? Jack went to his after school center by bus. Would you rather travel by bike or by horse? Why? So you could also say Jack went to his after school center on a bus. And would you rather travel on bike or on a horse? Number three, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice an emoji with thumbs up and smiling. In the next picture, I notice a boy with a thumbs up and he is also smiling. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They both, well, they both show sure. Sure. S-U-R-E. Sure. Sure means to feel certain about something. So, for example, The emoji with the thumbs up may be saying, "Sure, I'll do that," or "I'm ready. I am certain." And the boy, you may ask the boy, "Can you help me?" And the boy may put his thumbs up and say, "Sure," to feel certain about something. Sure, S-U-R-E. Sure means to feel certain about something. So a synonym or a word that's similar could be certain. It's almost like you're saying yes. Be sure to buckle your seatbelt. Be sure to buckle your seatbelt. So the mom or dad may say, "Are you sure that you buckled your seatbelt?" And you may put a thumbs up and say, "Yes, I am sure. I am certain." What does it mean? Sure means to feel certain about something. Number 4, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, the person is trying to decide which door to go through. He could go through number A or letter A, or he could go through letter B. So, which one will he choose? And then the next picture, I notice a person trying to decide if they should go straight to the left or to the right. There are many different ways he or she could go. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They both. Well, they both show could. 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 So the man could choose A, or he could choose B. Or the person could go to the left, they could go straight, or they could go to the right. Could. Could is a word you use to mean you can or might do something. Could. A synonym would be might. You might choose A, you might choose B, you might go left, you might go straight, you might go right. Could or might. You could walk to the bus with a buddy. You could walk to the bus with a buddy. You could also say, you might walk to the bus with a buddy. You might choose to. How do I use it? Tammy could finish her math homework without the book. What are some things you could do when you grow up? Tammy could finish her math homework without the book. What are some things you could do when you grow up? Now I'm going to substitute could with might. Tammy might finish her math homework without the book. What are some things you might do when you grow up? Next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a no sign. And in the second picture, a similar sign as well, saying no or don't or delete. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They both, well, they both show don't. And that is a contraction, so don't forget to put the apostrophe. D-O-N apostrophe T. D-O-N apostrophe T. For don't, you put the apostrophe where a letter is missing. So don't is the words do and not made into one word. Do and not made into one word. Don't. And if you notice, if you put those two words together, DON apostrophe T, they took out the O in not and they put an apostrophe there. So a synonym or word that means the same is do plus not. Do not. Don't stand while the school bus is driving. Don't stand while the school bus is driving. In other words, do not stand while the school bus is driving. How do I use it? I don't know how to divide numbers. What can you do when you don't know what a word means? I don't know how to divide numbers. What can you do when you don't know what a word means? So don't is do not. Number 6, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a black car, a small car. And in the next picture, I also notice a car, but it looks a little bigger. It has 4 doors instead of 2. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They both, well, they both show a car. So write the word car for number 6, C-A-R, car, C-A-R, car. What is a car? A car is a machine or automobile that moves on wheels and is used to drive from place to place. A car is a machine or automobile that moves on wheels and is used to drive from place to place. So a synonym or a word that means the same is automobile, or you could even shorten that and say auto. Automobile is the synonym for car, automobile. A car should always stop at a stop sign. A car should always stop at a stop sign. Or you could say an automobile should always stop at a stop sign. How do I use it? We will park the car in the garage. How are riding in a car and riding in a train alike and different? You could also say, we will park the automobile in the garage. How are riding in an automobile and riding in a train alike and different? Next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a woman is thinking, either talking or thinking in her mind. And in the next picture, I notice another head thinking or talking in their mind. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They both, well, they both show about. This is a little tricky. About, A-B-O-U-T, about, A-B-O-U-T. About is a word you use when you are speaking or thinking of something having to do with. So that's why I have a picture of someone speaking and I have a picture of someone thinking. So about is a word you use when you are speaking or thinking of something having to do with. So a synonym could be, or a shorter definition, having to do with. The woman was speaking about uh, about the school, the new school. So the woman was speaking about the new school, or the man was thinking about the his day. So about, having to do with. These children know about bike safety. These children know about bike safety. So you could say these children know um, bikes, everything having to do with bike safety. What does it mean? About is a word you use when you are speaking or thinking of something. So the next picture, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice some smiley, unhappy, and flat faces. Yes, no, and blank. In the next picture, I notice a person with a check mark, an exclamation mark, and it says yes, no, and a question mark. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They both? Well, they both show maybe. Yes, no, and maybe. Yes, no, and maybe. Maybe. Maybe means something possibly might happen. It possibly might happen. Maybe. So a synonym could be possibly. Maybe you can help someone be safe. Maybe you can help someone be safe. Or you could substitute the synonym, possibly you can help someone be safe. All right, let's review our words. Number one, there. The word there is used to mean that something can be found here, a place or position. Number two, by. By is a word that means with the help of, on, or near. Number three, sure. Sure means to feel certain about something. And number four, could. Could is a word you use to mean you can or might do something. Could. So, if you need to make any changes or check your work, this is a good time to push pause. Make sure you've written your words correctly for numbers 1 to 4. And then this is also a good time to draw a quick picture or sketch. And when you're finished, push play to rejoin the lesson. Number 5, don't. Don't is the words do and not made into one word. It's called a contraction with an apostrophe where the missing letter is. Don't. Number 6, car. A car is a machine or automobile that moves on wheels and is used to drive from place to place. Number 7, about. About is a word you use when you are speaking or thinking of something having to do with. That's why I have a picture of someone speaking. And you could say, what are they speaking about? Or someone is thinking, and you might say, what are they thinking about? About. Number 8, maybe. Maybe means something possibly might happen. Maybe. So, again, this is a good time to push pause. Make sure you have all these words spelled correctly. You can also write them a second time. And then you can draw a quick picture or sketch. So, these pictures are here to help you. When you're finished checking your work, writing your words, and drawing your quick picture, you can push play. At the top of your paper, I want you to reflect on your learning target. I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the story, The Big Trip. So, would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I easily said how each pair of pictures were the same. Or would you give yourself a 3? I was able to say how most of the picture pairs were the same. Or would you give yourself a 2? I was able to say how some of the picture pairs were the same. Or would you give yourself a 1? I was not able to say how any of the picture pairs were the same. So write your reflection on the top of your paper: 4, 3, 2, or 1. This is a reminder it's the end of the lesson, time to challenge yourself. Hopefully, you've already written all of your vocabulary words, 1 to 8. It's time to get your crayon and your pencil to rainbow write, or just write your words up to 2 more times. And that second time, you can write the word or you can draw a quick picture or sketch. Thank you, boys and girls, for reviewing the vocabulary and sight words with me. Have a great day.